Greetings and salutations. Welcome to the Anime Daily Podcast, your ultimate hub for all things anime and beyond. Whether you are joining us for the first time, or you're a returning listener, or you're welcome to the new channel, we're thrilled to have you on board for another exciting dive into the world of animation and pop culture. This is episode 161 of the Anime Podcast. Brace yourself for character debates, side conversation, and a clash of chaos and a hatred from Crash. Not jokester this time, so we'll stay tuned. Of all cramped in a 2-hour adventure or less, we're back and ready to hear the Mariah Carey sing one last time, and we have 6 days left. Happy holidays! And without further ado, engage with us, share this episode, and bring your friends, and let's make this day unforgettable. All powered by AniMa W3 Studio. Moving forward, we are all pre-recorded, except for this live episode. And catch every new episode every Thursday on YouTube and audio feed wherever you listen to. And now you can meet the panel, myself, legenddvash, and it's a bird, it's a plane, it's a dog. No, it's Superman.
How's it going, everybody? Your world champion Whawkins is here, and hey, I'm just enjoying myself. I'm simply having a wonderful weeby time right now.
Good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time it is, and wherever it is that you are. It is Crash, aka the Hispanic Assassin, being the biggest hater this episode, the villain, the big bad wolf, the judger, with my controversial hot takes this time around.
Yes, we here on a Thursday morning, guys. We usually here at nighttime, or we usually on a pre-record, like I said, on a joke on our intro of the Stampede. But for this episode, we decided to do a little morning type of show. Off the Binge has been doing well as our little morning show that me and Crash has been doing. Go check that out if you enjoyed the seasonal anime conversation on the weekly. We're tuning up, ready for the winter season for our boy Sung Jin Woo. Every time on a live episode of Off the Binge, you will hear Vash be doing the Sung Jin Woo phrase, arise. So trust me, it's hype. We're ready. And other than that, we appreciate you for checking for this animated podcast episode 161. We'll be doing things a bit differently. We will usually start with Weeps Lounge, and then hit our otaku news, and then hit our main topic or animation spotlight, depending on the episode. However, for this episode, we'll be doing a bit on the flip and cross. We're going to be doing otaku news first, because something dropped, major drop on this morning episode, as you hear the subtle references throughout this already about it's a plane, it's a dog. No, it's Superman. Who it was the first Superman trailer from the new reboot universe of James Gunn of the DC, made by Warner Brothers and DC Comics. So we want to really tackle that and give that conversation for this. And after that, we'll be jumping into our Weeps Lounge. Our main topic for the Game Awards results of 2024 that happened last week. Go check out predictions video if you haven't. So some of us were right, so go check that out. But then we'll be ending off the show with the Weeps Lounge. So now you heard the rundown. Now that you heard the conversation, let's just get to the straight of the episode of the Otaku News. Big news and buzz central. The pulse of our Anime Daily Podcast. Get ready to dive into the latest buzz, hottest news, and all our spirited opinions on everything entertainment. So I want to give it first to a quick rapid fire of anime news that was related, that dropped literally this past night. Danadon
Yeah.
TV anime season 2 officially is scheduled to air on July 2025. My Hero
Let's go.
Academia anime
Let's
final
go.
season
I'll know it
broadcast this fall 2025. Witchwatch TV anime announcement for 2 consecutive cours in April 25 for the spring season, and Undead Unluck anime will be premiering a completely original 1-hour special in the winter 25. This episode will feature an hour new story will completely new Uma. More details in the future, most likely. More conversation of news will be coming out in Jump Festa, aka this weekend. So chat, know, and be aware that 2 things we'll be talking about next week will be Sonic 3 review and Jump Festa coverage.
Yeah. Next week's gonna be stacked with stuff. Mainly news, So we might have to talk about the Sonic thing.
It might be like a dual
depending on-
episode, like probably like a
Yeah.
separate video, most likely, in my assumption.
Or if you people want it, we could do like a very long episode. You know that sometimes the long boy isn't too bad, is it?
hey,
but
yo,
I'll-
Sonic
I'll
3
let
is
everybody else.
excited for.
There's a lot to talk about, and it's good that it's ending on a good note for the year. You know what I mean? Like Sonic 3,
Oh, yeah.
who wouldn't want to ask for that?
Exactly.
Sonic
But how do you guys feel about this
Hero.
anime news that we finally hearing the final season of My Hero Academia? The most recent conversation that always gets told of the most new reboot manga or on the big threes always gets into conversation, even though My Hero Academia manga ended already and started almost in 2013, and the anime started in 2015, I believe, and now it's finally ending after 10 long years.
You guys want to go first? I want to give my take last, if that's okay with you guys.
That is a-okay, because mine's very quick fire. Dandadan season 2, y'all not ready. Y'all not ready for what's gonna come through that. As a manga reader of it, y'all nobody's ready for that.
I'm close to reading it. I will admit,
You're close to reading it.
I'm
okay.
close to reading to
I
Dandadan
might read it because it ended.
for two reasons. For two reasons, because our show that we're about to relaunch of Shonen Ronin, so Dandadan will be a good conversation for it, and two, because the anime is having me interested to know where of the yokai, the story of the aliens, like where would it dive into it. So I'm really curious to see where it could go. So that's why those two things. And I like the story, like with Dandadan, the lore and everything. I'm really curious to see how it does, and the romance very well balanced. So those are two reasons why I really want to check it out, for content and just for entertainment.
Yeah, no, Dandadan manga is a spectacle, if you will, because like it's crazy that art like that comes out every single week for a manga series. It kind of blows your mind at some points, but we could dive down that well a little bit later. MHA final season. Thank you for finally doing the final season. Hopefully they adapt that final chapter, that bonus chapter that Horikoshi added for the final volume to kind of help with some things.
I hope they will.
And hopefully they also just kind of hopefully they add a little bit to like that epilogue section of MHA, because we kind of skipped through a lot of stuff and it was just kind of like mentioned or referenced, and it's just like it'd be cool to kind of see a little bit more of that, you know, but I don't have too much hope when it comes to Bones with that. But I mean, the adaptation I think will be fine.
As a manga and anime watcher of My Hero, even though I paused on the anime after the overhaul adaptation, and with the manga, I'm close to finishing it. If Nick is listening, if Drop is listening, he'll be telling me like, "Capture to your manga. We're about to relaunch on a road." I'm like, "I know. I'm getting it. I'm getting there. I know. I'm doing my homework." So
Vash.
I'm excited.
Get no excuses, Vash.
Let's get to it. So I'm excited for My Hero to be ending, because it will be a great time to round about the conversation of My Hero. Like by the time the anime end, we could I could you know give my thoughts during that time. Like, hey, since we're getting the anime adaptation of the final arc, maybe they add things, or maybe they improve, or maybe it will change the mind of this fucking annoying ass community online because of how they're so critic up the butt.
That's not gonna change. You know that's not gonna change. They're all gonna be creepy, weird people.
Like, what's funny talking about Dandadan, it already
it
just got a key visual of season 2.
Let's go.
Oh, really?
Let's
Really?
go.
It was
I would
this
love
one.
to see it. Social media's about to go wild.
Yeah,
right?
y'all not ready.
25
Y'all not
minutes.
ready at all.
Let's
Y'all not
go.
ready. Y'all not ready.
Yeah,
ready for
yeah, okay, cool.
This season by far was one of the greatest animes I have watched in a very long time. Mind you, I'm a romance anime
Some
fanatic.
high regard saying greatest.
Yeah.
It's like that. That's some high regard saying. He just didn't say greatest. He said greatest of all time. It's like, hey, there's One Piece out there. There's Villain Saga out there. There's a few others that
hold
can
on.
take that.
If we're talking about anime, let's hold off on the One Piece thing.
Okay,
because
true.
That really blew up when Wano was happening.
Yeah,
so.
that's a big behemoth. Yeah, you're right.
But of the year, let me pause to that. There are a lot of contenders to like of this whole year overall. But Dandadan, let me just say for a lot of newcomers that have not watched it, what are you doing? I did not want to watch it. but I had it on my watch list, gave it a chance, watched it with Vash, the first 3 episodes, and when I tell you, I went in not expecting anything. I just was like, all right, let's see what it's all about, and my jaw dropped. I was just like, at awe at what I just witnessed, and to learn more and more about this whole story and everything, the romance aspect, the fighting, the animation, the fucking music, everything. There's nothing I don't dislike about this whole show at all. Besides the fact that it ends, I'm assuming on a cliffhanger, because for all sakes and purposes, episode 12 releases today. Of course, I have not watched it yet. Gonna watch it tonight. But, as somebody who's like, I want more, please don't end it here. I have to wait another 2 seasons in 2025, the summer season, to finish, season 2. That hurts my heart. And because of that, Whawkins, that's a big reason why I plan to read the manga. After I catch up my other manga, of course, just like with Vash, we have lives, we gotta catch up, but definitely I'm gonna start reading the manga and see what's going on with that, because this is a great anime, hands down.
Yeah, dude, it is fantastic. And I mean, I haven't been watching, full episodes lately just because, again, life getting in the way and all that. But like the clips I've been seeing though, like online. Well, I mean, that's the thing. I've read the manga, so I know what's happening.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, you can give him the free. He's up to date then, if anything.
Yeah, so it's just like, it's not like I'm missing too much, but like getting to see the scenes that I'm wanting to see, like, especially like the school stuff with the Loch Ness Monster and all that was fun. And like
that was amazing.
The fallout with that.
That was the funniest shit. Stop touching Ken! Why are you touching Ken? And we're not doing nothing. We're just here. Like, what the fuck?
Are they naked? Why are they naked?
But the animations added more comedy for it. Like more comedy,
yeah.
The animation added more comedy towards the running, towards the comedy. It felt very slapstick in a way of like Mr. Bean type of comedy. It felt in that type of way, and I really love that. And it showed Japan like knows how to make it feel very balanced. Like even though this is very embarrassing scene for teenagers in school, but they animated to feel very wholesome in that moment, even though in reality it's not. Like damn, they just got embarrassed in the whole school, and their reputation just got fucked.
Yep, exactly. I don't have much stock on Witch Watch, so cool, neat, awesome, fantastic. Undead Unluck, though, so this 1 hour special that's coming out. So, first of all, I was glad that they're doing this next little arc as a special, because it was really only like 2 or 3 chapters in the manga, and it was only like a conversation piece. There wasn't too much action going on from what I remember. So them saying not only is there going to be new stuff, but like they're adding in a new Uma, or like that's interesting to me, because it's like you're adding in a new element now to the story, a story that's almost ending, mind you, in the manga. So it's like, what are you adding that could either be teasing for later?
That's what I wonder. It's teasing for later.
Yeah, like,
it has to be teasing for later, because
what are you doing?
they have, and also, is this by the director that wants to do it, or the producer, or is this actually the creator that's giving this a green light? Hey, I approve this. This is more meant for my story. And does this count as canon now for the story? Because now we're getting to the questions like, is this like a one-off special that we barely get in anime? Like, we barely get this. So to actually get adapted into this is like, have we gotten like light novels? But the way this report came out, it just says like new Uma being presented, and as an hour special.
Yeah, so I'm excited for that. I think that's gonna hit hard, because Undead Unluck's one of my babies. So that's one of the few manga I started day one with. So I'm excited for that. Curious with all that, but that's basically my quick thoughts on this anime news we got.
You're not gonna like my take on Undead Unluck then. So,
look,
let me remind you guys.
You're anime only, right? You're anime only.
I am trying manga. I am currently reading some romance manga right now. In general, I've read Dragon Ball Z, One Piece, Naruto. I've only kept at Naruto. I've never touched Boruto, nor I ever will, because I don't think it's worth it. But past that, any other mainstream animes, Chainsaw Man. I was up to the 4th novel. I'm not up to date with that, but I know what's going on. No spoilers. Some stuff here and there, but like nothing else major besides those.
Okay, so you're not too familiar with anything beyond season 1 then?
With Undead Unluck.
Yeah.
Oh, you would need to hear my take on this before I answer that question.
Yeah, If you only have knowledge of season 1, then that makes sense. Because I kind of wish season 1 was a little better. Um, but that's just me kind of being nitpicky and how I wanted things to play out. But yeah, go ahead.
So, you're not ready for this, right? So, the show had released a couple seasons ago, and I had personally dropped it. I didn't think it was worth watching. I thought it was mid as fuck. I had seen the clips. I had seen the trailers. It wasn't for me. The season had ended. Before the announcement of this special coming up, I had seen more clips coming up on social media for whatever reason. So I, giving it the benefit of the doubt, gave it a chance. I started watching these clips. And something awoke inside of me, and I was like, you know what? I can admit when I'm wrong, saying, it was trash, it was bad, mid. I can admit to that. I tell Vash all the time off the bench, I will admit it here. Sometimes my opinions are wrong and I can be changed. That being said, I do plan to start watching Undead Unluck the anime probably by next year for the winter season once I caught up with my other animes or when the special erupts.
Cool. I mean, nothing wrong with that because that's the thing. The beginning of Undead Unluck, I get it. Like starting it off and being like, oh, this is what everybody's hyping up. This is what people liked. What? Okay, fine. I guess I see a vision here, but it's just the way that it builds up, and it's the way that it uses its characters to its betterment, I guess, is a good word for it. But yeah, just the way the story builds, the way it unleashes its powers and all that, and how it uses its power systems, the romance in it. I'll let you be the judge of that, being more of the romance guy, but it's good. I think it's good the way that they show, especially mainly with Fuko's growth as a character. She's probably, if I were to say and stand on something and have an agenda to push, I don't care what y'all say. In the realms of Shonen Jump magazine, she is the best female character. Now, you hear me say best female character. I mean best one, of all time.
That's
I
a
will
hot
go
take.
out on that limb and say that shit. And it's mainly,
I
again,
agree
just
with
her
him,
growth.
Whawkins. I agree with him as well.
Wow.
Good. That is fine. That is A-okay. Because, hey, guess what? Again, she is the perfect definition of it's all about the journey and not the destination. Because just seeing how she grows as a person and as a character it's really kind of inspirational in a way. Because she goes from that very timid girl in episode 1 to this pretty much almost better than Andy in some aspects. But just seeing her become what she has, it's really good. But I won't praise Undead Unluck too much right now because I need to see how it ends first too. Because it's okay, we're getting to the end. How are we going to do this? Okay, buddy, let's see how you do this. But no, perfectly understandable when starting out Undead Unluck thinking that way. So don't worry, your take right there was not too hot. It's okay. It's basically universal with a lot of people.
I think I can say at that point, at least we're all looking forward to season 2, at least with the special as well too, with the 1 hour special. There's a lot of mystery behind it, but really time will tell what it shows us when the time comes to release.
Exactly.
Bash, any other thoughts on Undead Unluck?
Unluck, no, I'm excited for it. I have not seen the season 1 anime adaptation. I read the manga. Like you said for Danadon, I've seen the material, so that's why I have not seen it and made the time for it. But I will make the time for it before this new Uma, because I'm curious to see how it will go. But I want to catch up to the manga first, since season 1 adapted, I already have read, so I'm not in a rush to read it. I do want to see it adapted and see his blood being used as a weapon, since how it is. And I need to see. And did they show Victor? By the way, did they show Victor in season 1? They did, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then I would definitely...
So season 1 goes all the way to the autumn arc.
Okay, then cool, because I love Victor.
Yeah.
That's my Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta version of our boy Andy, and I love that because anybody has watched anime podcasts in either of its iterations and heard my take on Dragon Ball GT, Super Saiyan 4, I love the design a lot. So seeing a character like Victor, who almost looks identical, except all he's missing is literally the red fur coat. That's my G. That's my boy. That's my dude. So for that being the case, I love Undead Unluck. I just haven't watched it. Can't have too much thoughts. Other than that, I'm really curious about this take of this 1 hour special. So I'm really curious to see where that will go.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for when it releases on our review and what we really feel about it overall. By then, me and Vash should be up to date with the anime, hopefully, and we'll see how we feel about that special.
Exactly. Give me a second.
I was gonna say just real quick. I didn't speak on My Hero Academia. I am up to date with the anime. I'm looking forward to it. I have never read the manga, but I'm with Whawkins on. I have heard about what happens in the epilogue. I wouldn't say I was spoiled, but like I just have an inkling of what happens. So I'm with you on that take on. Yeah, I would hope the ending anime wise is a little better than what it was shown in the manga. And for Witch Watch, I don't have much to say on it. It hasn't been something I heard too much about myself personally. I do know it does release in the spring season, but past that, stay tuned. Maybe potentially I might watch, maybe not. But for now, I don't have an idea of me picking it up anytime soon.
Copy.
Right.
So let's move on to, if you want to fly, if you want to give the hands to your boss. We're talking about two things. There are a flyer, but one gives the hands to the boss already. And it's not Superman yet, Chad. That'll be our last one for the Talking News. It is Invincible Season 3 trailer releasing on February 6th. And this is the Season 3 for Amazon Prime. We have covered Season 1. We'll cover Season 2. Now we're here for Season 3. It's right around the corner. It's 5-6 weeks away. So I want to ask first, who's the fuck excited for this? Because I'm excited to see what's to come and what has been shown in this trailer. But more as I have not read this part of the manga, part of the comic, so I don't know part of the context of what's going on. I've heard the spoilers, I've heard what could be happening, but to actually see it, I haven't. So I'm really fucking excited to see this man looking like he's tough because he's angry, but he's finally training, and I've been asking for this. Like, can this man train? He keeps getting his hands kick, punch, thrown off by every person he meets. I need this man to get the cojones and finally pick them up and be like, I could do this. And he
let me just say, let me go last, you guys. I want your guys' takes first. Let me be that villain, because you're not gonna like my take on this either. You no one's gonna like my take on this.
Someone's in their villain arc right now. Everybody,
yeah.
So you just gotta let them. You just gotta let them be for all this. But you know what? I am excited for Invincible Season 3. I'm glad it's not being broken up like Season 2 was, because that was not good.
It was a little tedious, you could say.
It's just bad marketing. It's just bad marketing. Like, why would they do that?
Well, that, and it's just like, we got the one trailer for Season 2, and the animation was stellar. It was awesome. And then Season 2 comes around, and it's just like, oh, here comes some moving PNGs at times. And it's like, oh, no. I was expecting more from this. And at least with Season 3, it looks like they did step up their game a little bit in the animation department. So I'm like, okay, you know what? Fine, fair. They've learned. They can do something better here. So yeah, I'm just excited that it's not going to be a split core kind of thing, But yeah, we'll see what happens. I know some of my friends, because I have talked to people that have read the comics, and they are some of them are also cautiously optimistic, and that's a phrase that you'll hear again here in just a few minutes too. Yeah, there's some things I know, Sydney. There's some things in Invincible Season 3 that they're a little worried about, being like, okay, how are they going to handle this? And it mainly has to do with Cecil, and that's really all I'm going to say about it, because that's all I know about it. So yeah, go ahead. Season 3, let's go.
Vash, you mind if I go next?
I was just saying that I'm really curious, because this is not also a crazy news report as well, but this was something that dropped as well that involves Invincible. Also, the Tiger dude got his approved greenlit at the old comic, a one
Spin-off, yeah.
shot spinoff, and a lot of people
Battle
were
Beast?
Battle Beast. Thank you. I forgot his actual name. I just call him Tiger because in my head I look at the trailer again just to watch the scenes, and then I just remember that little small report. But anybody as well excited for that comic of the one spinoff? Anybody excited for that?
I really couldn't care less. I feel like he was better animated, but I'm glad that he's getting a spin-off nonetheless. I guess a lot of people care about him as a character to know his origin story, so I guess there's some merit to that.
But also, I'm excited because it's not about the orange juice. I'm excited to see whose hands is he gonna rip off and kill, because he's a battle beast. He literally knows how to give hands and literally destroy, and he's a mercenary. He gets higher, so I'm curious to see, is this gonna be like was it in wrestling, not the fodder, a squash match. So I'm really curious to see if we're gonna get squash matches every comic chapter, because that's what I feel like we are, since he's battle beast. So I feel like that is the point of him, like literally destroying every opponent he sees.
Right.
But when it comes to the actual trailer, I'm excited for it. It looks like a lot of controversy of who can you trust. Like, now that you've been in your hero career in the past 3 years or 2 years that Mark has been doing this, what is his next step, and now who is to trust, and where is your motto? Like, where's your morality? Like, who is it that you feel like lines up with your vision as a hero? Because Usisu, he's government. He is about protecting everyone, even if it's being touching his hands dirty like he did. He's working with the androids, the robots, and Mark didn't like that. Like, why are you working for? Like, I'd rather work with him than rather he work against us. I'd rather deal with the bad seeds than rather deal with the people that are evil and are against us. So understandable mindset as a person in charge trying to protect the world. They'd rather have the corrupt weapons yourself instead of trying to fight them. So understandable in that mindset. But when it comes to Mark as a hero, you have that conflict of interest, and it's going to be interesting how they develop that. The one thing that I hope we get is better animation. I don't want to see transitional PNG, or anybody that have watched the records of Ragnarok, the anime adaptation that I read was fucking amazing art, but seeing to the animation in the Netflix was horrible, seeing like a whole PowerPoint. So if you don't want to see that, hopefully Invincible don't give that. So that's my quick thoughts. Crash, what do you think about it? What's your hot take?
All right, so first off, that's wild take. I actually like the animation for Records of Ragnarok. I don't know what you're talking about. I thought it was good.
Wilding.
I thought it was good. I won't disagree and say the manga didn't go hard. I have seen pictures of it online. I thought the manga was great, but I personally didn't think
so much.
Again, I'm the villain of the story.
A lot of questions in my mind, like what?
But let me cook. So, Invincible season 3. Again, like you guys are, I'm on to date with season with this past 2 seasons. I thought personally it was okay at best. What the biggest thing you guys need to remember, if you guys can, a couple of episodes prior, we were talking about Invincible season 2, and I don't remember who it was. I don't know if it was Rome or anybody else, but we were talking about Mark's brother, and he was shown in the trailer, right? So that's one of the big things I'm looking forward to, more about him and like what he's going to contribute to the story. And then, again, this is part of the comic that was spoiled to me online. But the Viltrumite, the girl, remind me her name because I always eludes me.
Yes, Viltrumite girl.
Yeah, the Viltrumite girl. So there is a specific scene, and you guys know what I'm referring to in the comics, that something happens between her and Mark.
Oh.
I was expecting that to happen.
The one thing that got spoiled on the comics because everyone kept sharing it, being like, oh, you're not ready for this.
Yeah, you're not ready. She's coming.
Now
She's going to do him. Like, okay,
So,
I assume season 3 that's gonna happen. I assume that's where.
I assume so too, because I thought that she was gonna happen season 2 when she came and just fucked up Amber and Mark's date. So I was like, oh shit, it's gonna go down now. I think this is a bit too early. So we didn't see it season 2. Are we gonna see that season 3 potentially? But I would assume so, because I'm curious to see how they adapt that in this day and age, in 2024 going to 2025. That's going to be a very crazy, controversial scene for sure. I don't know enough about CISO, because I have not read the comic. I have it to purchase. I really do want to read and get into the comic itself, because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of story to talk about with everything. But I don't know enough about Cecil as a person to care for him as a villain, because that's where I saw the trailer portray him as. It's like, you thought you could trust this one person, and now seeing that he may potentially be a villain in his own right kind of throws me off. And just the direction of the story.
I was just gonna say, it's one of those things where, like, I don't. It's not necessarily he's a villain. It's more of for the greater good kind of thing. So, like,
it's a hero.
If you remember, like, yeah, exactly. Well, kind of, yes. It's like, remember when, like, Tony Stark wanted to basically build a shield around the Earth, to protect everybody.
Yeah, the robots,
It's kind of something like that. It was just like, okay, you could do that. However, that, like, that cuts everybody off. What if the shield is not the best idea? Or, like, you could also tie this too with, like, the whole concept of, and this might be just like a dark like a dark mindset to kind of think of, but it's like, okay, the lives of the few versus the lives of the many. Which do you choose? Like, do you sacrifice one person so that way thousands, if not millions, can live? Or do you sacrifice those thousands in order for, like, only one person to live? Like, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, okay, Cecil is going to be on that edge of the spectrum, being like, okay, it's more like absolute, or like, here's another word for it. It's more of the objective way of thinking of things rather than the emotional, subjective way of, like, oh, I need to save this person because they need saving. Well, no, if you do that, this is going to happen. Yeah, but I can't just let them die. But let them die, because if they don't die, then this other worse thing is going to happen. Yeah, but they're going to die. Don't save them. Like, it's going to be like that kind of argument throughout. And I think that's where Mark is going to be challenged a lot. Like, yeah, we see him punching and fighting and all that shit, but, like, the bigger story here is more of the morality of it all. And yeah, Cecil's going to be in that spot where, like, yeah, people are going to think of him as a villain, but it's more of that objective way of looking at things. Like, okay, we have to do this. It's an absolute kind of thing. Like, if we want the Earth saved, yeah, we're gonna have to kill, like, 1,000 people or some bullshit like that,
And
no, definitely.
And it's interesting when it comes to the mindset, when it comes to characters, because the hero MC, like, example, the next character we're gonna talk about, like, when it comes to Superman, when it comes to Man of Steel, a lot of people didn't like that he had to choosing those three people to save or kill General Zod. So, like, the ideology of choose to kill one of your own kind, even though you just met him today, even though he's your uncle, or kill the three humans you don't know, but then it makes you choose between you choosing to become murderer of humans or murder of your own kind. So, like, that's a tough psychological type of psychosis when it comes to the character, when it comes to Mark as well, since Mark and Superman, like, were, like, is a figment of inspirations from the Saiyans. Like, they're all similar storylines of one another. So it's just, like, it's very interesting. You could be a god, but you still can't save the most littlest things.
I just feel like, and again, this is somebody who has never read the comics, so definitely my take is definitely opinionated. You guys can call me out on it for sure, but from the trailer alone, I feel like the story is not getting bland, but, like, get to the point, kind of, like, because from season 2, that whole ending with Levi, sorry, and I'm not gonna spoil if you guys have not seen it, but his actions from that alone was, for me, I like that, because it's like, you did what you shouldn't have done. You were supposed to do something heroic, and you chose the darker side. And it's like, going into season 3, you're gonna change to be a better person based on that experience, but to what end, right? Like, the Guardians. I'm more focused on their story right now than I am with Invincible. Don't get me wrong, Invincible's brother, definitely, I want to know more about him and his character and everything, and the Vulture, my girl. But past that, like, just from what I see with the trailer, I don't know. Like, Adam, Eve.
Yeah.
I really want to know. Like, is there going to be something happening or whatnot? Because again, at the end of the season 2, his friend zone and everything. So, like, it's not looking good from what the trailers show me. I hope the story overall, what we're going to see in season 3 in general, has a better explanation of what's going to happen in its own story than what I just seen in the trailer. Because to me, I don't think the trailer did enough justice for me to be really interested, really more invested with its story.
No, I get that. I get that fully. So
I'm curious to
you're,
see
you're good.
where Mark's brother will be involving, this, because I know in the comic he
here.
wasn't as important figure as it is right now with his animation adaptation. So I'm curious to see how much they will be changing into their own story in the animated form. Where is the creator doing with this? Like, where is he trying to lead things up with? So I'm excited overall with this trailer. We're 5 weeks
Yeah.
away, so like as much as I can add more to this, it's more like we have to wait and see how they continue from season 1. I mean, from episode 1, season 3, because season 2 was such a mixed bag for the audience. To now, we're asking more questions than having answers, so it's more of a wait and see on my end.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, most definitely.
But before we wait and see, we gotta talk about the most biggest wait and see of the box office that would be for 2025. And you know what that is? Because the movie is being released in July 11th, 2025, and that will be the Superman movie. It's just called Superman, and it's from James Gunn, directed by him, and written. And the first teaser came out yesterday, because for some reason we have a teaser for a trailer that's coming out. But we had a teaser yesterday showing like 20 seconds, and then we had a 2-minute and 20-second trailer of the first Superman. And I'm gonna first knock it out to Crash. Give me your hot takes. What do you think of this trailer overall? The first introductee of the universe of the reboot of James Gunn Superman that is out of the Zack Snyder transitioning into this whole universe now.
It's mid as fuck. I'm not gonna. No. Imagine I said that.
I'm
No,
like,
so-
clip posting
It's like,
online
wait a minute,
everywhere.
hold on.
Post. By the way,
Fucking
Chad, I
Crypto.
have my boy Crypto the dog here.
Crypto.
For anybody has watched the cartoon anime that I grew up with, we all grew up with it. So I wanted to have Crypto out of everything that we're gonna be discussing. I want to have Crypto because it's cute, and I have my own dog, and I love Crypto, and I always will name one of my future dogs Crypto the dog. So for sure, I just want to have a little picture of him. So big shout out to Crypto the dog. It's my fault. Crash, go ahead. I just love Crypto.
No. Shout out to Crypto. No, me personally, I've always been more of a Marvel fan than a DC fan. Not to say anything bad about DC overall. My biggest thing about this movie, and it's a big controversial thing that has to be discussed. It's an elephant in the room. The last couple of years, DC has been tremendously dropping the bag, fumbling the bag with a lot of its projects, especially with its movies. Not to shit on its animated projects, they've been so much more better than the movies overall. Superman as a character is somebody that is very iconic, so well known. There is not one person in this world that has not heard of the word Superman before. That being said, what needs to be remembered is that we have gotten a lot of stories with Superman. And now that James Gunn, the director, the creator of this movie, is going forward with the future projects of DC, the biggest question I have in my head is, how do you create an origin story of Superman more original than any of the other stories I have heard before? Because, I'm a big nerd. I have seen almost all the Superman movies. I've seen almost all the shows, the animated series and everything, the comics. Like, it's not surprising to me. Right now in this day and age, it's very hard to create an original format of a story that I've already heard about before. And with DC failing almost every way possible, there's a lot of pressure on James Gunn to put out something that will save potentially this this company, as opposed to a studio like Marvel. That being said, this trailer that just released not too long ago, I personally watched it right before this podcast came out, and I will just say that I was genuinely surprised that I was not bored, disinterested. It was good. It was good. What I did not like about it is that for somebody new, younger viewers, specifically, watching this, going into this movie, is going to be baffled with the amount of things happening at once. You have a lot of characters you may not be familiar with. You have a lot of things happening at once, with romance, with the action, with the story itself. That, I feel, is a bit rushed, I think, would be the best way to say that. And for somebody who is, very, very familiar with Superman, that wouldn't be a problem for it. But my thing is, if James Gunn is trying to focus on newer viewers, the newer generation, getting into superheroes and villains, the way the trailer approached this specific story, I feel might not be the best way. Will the show? I mean, I'm sorry. Will the movie be great? I think so. Personally, just watching the trailer, in my head, I'm giving it a good 8 out of 10. But is it enough to save the future of DC? I don't know. I personally would not listen to any of the reviewers that post the critiques that post out, the movie when it releases beforehand, because it's my opinion. I think more matters most than anything when it comes to a lot of the movies with DC. I don't think a critique, a reviewer would be enough for me to perceive it as, oh yeah, I'm not gonna watch it, or I will watch it, as opposed to many of the movies I've released, whether it's DC or anything in general, because I want DC to succeed in their future endeavors with a lot of projects, because there is a lot of stories that have not been put out in cinema, as opposed with, let's say, a big rival like Marvel. DC has potential to put out great things, and the animated movies and shows are a perfect example of that. But will James Gunn succeed in that? It's only a matter of time, until the movie release for us to actually say so. But me overall, I think the movie has potential. Crypto looked amazing. I would love to see a live action dog in action. I think Lex Luthor overall as a character, the way he was shown in the trailer, looked amazing as opposed to other Lex Luthors. The Snack Snyder version, I don't like that. Lois Lane, I'm not a big fan of. Always was a better fan of the animated, one like my mentioned Superman. I love that Lois Lane personally, but the live action wasn't feeling. We've seen a lot of characters, in the movie like Hawk Girl. There's other people that I'm forgetting right at the top of my head, but those characters, again, if you're not familiar with DC, you're gonna be very confused immediately. There's a lot to unravel that I'm not saying right now, but I think the movie is gonna do fine. I just don't know if you guys agree with me, if that's enough to save DC as an overall franchise.
Well,
Yeah, and I mean, we had talked, before we, jumped on here with some of our just initial thoughts and all that. Like, I think me and you, Crash, are kind of in the same like wavelength with it, where like I'm very cautiously optimistic, and that's because of what DC has produced in the past few years. James Gunn at least has a decent track record recently. I only say decent because I think it was Guardians 3 that kind of got a bit of criticism on. Not from me really personally. I did like Guardians 3, but I know there are people out there that despise the movie and all
Really?
that stuff. And like, oh yeah,
I didn't
there
know
are
that.
people out there.
I know people didn't like the
also-
villain, but the origin story with
Yeah.
Rocket, I know people
yeah.
did.
I was unaware about that.
A lot of people like the Rocket stuff. It was like a lot of the stuff that had to deal with around the Rocket stuff, like when they went to like the fleshy planet or whatever it was.
Oh yeah, you're
Like
right.
there
That is
was all
true.
that stuff. Yeah.
I still haven't
Um,
seen Guardian of the Galaxy 3. I just haven't really made the time for it. That's honestly the only reason I haven't.
You'll see why there's a cautious optimism going on here, because like the other thing I want to bring up too is the fact that this trailer, like it was good visually. It was really good. Like the shot they had where Superman was saving the little girl from like the debris and
Yeah.
it goes into like
Oh,
the
that's
slow
a beautiful
motion.
scene.
That
hard.
looked awesome.
Yeah, that was hard.
Seeing- yeah.
The one thing that shocked me for the most in the beginning of the trailer is like, who kicked Superman's ass for him to be up in the North Pole? That's what really got me asking the question. Because I remember, I like, if I look online, I could remember who was cast as the villains and the characters, but I've chosen to forget because I'm like, oh shit, it's in July. Oh shit, it's in 6 months away. Time fly by fast. I remember a year and a half ago, they was just saying, oh, new announcement of this person being casted. Now it's like, okay, we finally got the trailer. We finally see these people. Let's just say this. Nathan Fraser, you are our national treasure. I love you. But your buzz cut, the haircut they gave you as Guy Gardner is ass cheeks.
But it's comic accurate.
It's comic accurate. Hold on.
Don't you know comic accuracy?
But you could have comic accurate, but you could have comic accurate being good. Because you know what could be comic accurate and look good? If anybody, take a quick 10-second flashback scene with me. If you remember watching Ned Disclassify, the buzz cut guy, he literally had a wig. Coconut Head. Thank you for his name. He literally had a wig all the time. But then they had also a version of his actual haircut like that a few times in the show. You could have a buzz cut like that for Guy Gardner, a version like that. Nathan Fraser looked ugly and hideous in that version. I'm like, what's with this, my guy? I couldn't even recognize him in that buzz cut until I had to look twice in that flashback, which, again, it looked fucking amazing. For Guy Gardner, the suit, the green, it looked actually good. I still laugh that Ryan Reynolds got asked to actually play a version of Green Lantern, and he obviously
That's
said no.
funny.
To see Hawk Girl, Mr. Terrific is amazing. We only have one live action version of Mr. Terrific, but it was in the Arrowverse. But it wasn't the actual Mr. Terrific. We know it was, I think, the brother of Mr. Terrific. I believe it was the version that got played in the Arrowverse. So we don't actually have the comic accurate. Now we do. So I'm really curious that. And for anybody that doesn't know comic lore, Justice League Unlimited shows the fucking powerful strength and the smart strategic that Mr. Terrific is. I believe he's in the top 10 smartest people in the DC universe. So it's amazing to see him there. The only thing that threw me off is Metamorph, I believe is how you pronounce his name. He threw me off a bit on the design.
I have no opinion on it because what you want to remember too, right? Is like I was saying. For those who are not familiar with DC, going to this movie for the first time, seeing these characters.
You might comment towards that. I'm happy they're establishing a universe that already have existing people, because I remember me explaining this right before we went on air. Is Marvel, with the way they started, was Iron Man, Captain America. They start to establish the universe. They had a layout, but they didn't plan years in advance, or at least ideas to like, hey, you know, where technically Star Wars is technically fucking up. A lot of people, as much you don't want to sugarcoat it, where Star Wars universe is technically fucking up in the past couple years, because they're not planning stuff. They're just saying, let's do this. Oh, you know what? It sounds like a good idea. Who should we do it with? Don't know. Let's just do it. Well, Marvel, they at least planned Phase 1, Phase 2, Phase 3. They at least had an idea as their main big bad of Thanos. But then now with Phase 4 and Phase 5, they're trying to substitute the plot holes they had in other films and add more lore into it. That's not working out with them, is why Phase 4 and Phase 5 kind of failed to some people, or some movies, or some shows. Some did good, WandaVision, Falcon Winter Soldier, but then we had Miss Hulk. I forgot Miss Hulk.
She-Hulk?
She-Hulk, thank you. I call her Miss Hulk. You see, guys, I just butchered that. So for She-Hulk, some things did not work out as the plan. They rushed it, or they felt whatever it may be. For James Gunn establishing a universe where Superman is coming into his universe that there's already established heroes, where it felt like Man of Steel could have succeeded better if it was more established with other heroes, as the Batman was there. They kind of let that off a bit too late, trying to fix plot holes. For this, having Hawk Girl, having Green Lantern, which should fucking be established already, since Green Lantern of this universe supposed to take our Earth and our sector. I forgot the name of the sector, but it makes sense to be established in that world where Superman could be fucking kissing Lois Lane, where fucking alien, I forgot what alien that is, starfish? No, it's not starfish. Some alien parasite. Starshow. It could be a Starshow or some parasite. Is destroying fucking Metropolis, but he's kissing Lois Lane literally in his apartment, and I'm like, bro. But I feel like he's taking his time because there's probably other heroes already doing their business. He's just coming there to get the extra little Man of Steel punch, is my guess, but I like it. And also, I like the new costume at the end. The new costume at the end looks fucking fire. That's all I'm going to say, too.
Oh, the costume looks great, yeah.
Oh, yeah, the red tights,
so,
I'm okay with that. I'm not too complaining about that. But that's my counter argument about that, having re-established heroes already in a universe where Superman has to take his first flight, take his first loss, his first win, where they're already there. I feel like that makes the world better, in a world where us in our universe, in our Earth, we already have seen these versions of Superman, like we said, Christopher Reeves, Brandon Routh, Henry Cavill, a field project of Nicolas Cage, and now we have this version, and we have the TV version of Smallville, the other TV version of Tyler Hoechlin. We have already 6-7 versions of live action Superman on screen, and having a reestablished universe of heroes already, I feel like just hits the green mark, where us as a casual viewers and audience, we don't need to understand them so well already. If we're gonna build upon them, where we just showing one fraction of our universe of Earth Prime into what's gonna be the grander scale of James Gunn universe, to me, it just makes it more enticeful.
See, all right, I'm gonna play devil's avocado here because this. Okay, my biggest concern with this movie is it has the possibility of feeling very bloated
It
for
could.
exactly
It could.
exactly the reasons that you just said. We're throwing in
Jay
how
just
many
has to
other
find the
heroes?
balance. Jay just has to find the
Yeah.
balance, and that's the fear, which I totally understand. Like, how
Yeah.
can you find the balance of where it doesn't feel like a crossover? Like, anyway, it's not Superman
Yeah.
film, but
'Cause
then
that's the
becomes
thing,
more like a
'cause
crossover.
Because that's the thing. It's just like, okay, are we getting a Superman movie or are we getting a Civil War movie like MCU did, where it's just like, oh, it's Captain America Civil War? It's just like, is it though? Because you got Tony Stark in there who's got an arc. You got the other Avengers in there who have many arcs in this supposed Captain America movie. It's like, why not just call that Avengers 3 Civil War? Why's it got to be Captain America? Like that, and that's the thing with this movie. Like, it's a Superman movie, so it should be a Superman movie. If you're gonna have cameos, fine, cool, neat, awesome, because that just, again, it can help, establish your new universe
Well,
you're doing and
question,
all that.
would
But
it
that's the
be-
thing. Hold on. Like, you're throwing in so many. Like, look at all the names you threw. You have Hawk Girl, Green Lantern,
Metamorphosis.
Metamorphosis. Who was the other?
Terrific.
Who was the other hero? You
Lex
got?
Luthor you got
Mr.
there now.
Terrific. There's already 4 other heroes in this movie. Are they just going to be cameos, or are they going to be involved in the movie? Like that, and that's the thing. Like, this trailer is showing you all this stuff. It's throwing so much at you, information wise. It's just like, okay, are you just going to be a movie? Are you just going to be 2 hours of setting up your whole universe, or are you going to be a 2-hour Superman movie? Because on the poster, it's a Superman movie. It should be a Superman movie. Therefore, let's focus on Superman, and then if you want to have the others involved, do some like quick little cameo things. Hopefully that is the case. If you're going to have like other things in your universe, maybe make mention of them. Like, we see he's going to be at the Daily Planet. Why not be like, have somebody in the newsroom be like, oh yeah, there was this mysterious hawk-like woman flying in the air, beating up some person flying or whatever. Like, that would be a good way to be like, okay, the heroes do exist in this universe. Like, we don't have to show them doing anything. It's just like, we can set it up very subtly here, like just like what the MCU did. Because when the MCU started, yeah, they didn't really have like a big overarching plan, but that kind of worked to its benefit, because it was just like, we're going to start these movies off, or these shows now off, where it's just like, we're setting up our universe through these movies, through each individual hero, rather than just throwing it all at you and being like, here you go. Here's your information. Now you know everything. It's just like, well, let it build, let it grow, let it form into something that it can be. That's why we got things like Endgame and Infinity War. That's why like those became like such a big part of our our pop culture right now, because we had the time put in to establish all of that. And that's like the other downside to it, is like, there's not a lot of time when it comes to like DC with their movies, because right now James Gunn is in a horrible spot where it's just like, it's almost make or break. Like, if you fuck
Fuck
this
up,
movie
pretty
up,
much. Like, you have this one shot. That's it.
yeah,
Hey,
like,
you have one
if
shot,
you-
one
yeah.
opportunity.
yeah,
Well,
exactly. Like,
Yeah.
like, and not to sound like such a Debbie Downer with it, but you kind of do, dude. Like, this is make or break for whether or not this new universe is gonna be successful.
So-
But I mean, I'm on the optimistic part. I think it is gonna be a good movie, but there's just those worries, just because of how many times we've gotten burned with not only just superhero movies, but DC in general.
Gosh. I just want to give one quick note to that real
Exactly.
quick. Like,
I was going to transition to you. No worries. Go
Yeah.
ahead, do your thing. 'Cause
Okay.
I do have a counter argument, but I'm gonna let you go first because I know you're about to head out.
Yes, real quick. So everything Watkins said, I 110% agree with. Even I have like mentioned some of that. Like, you and me are in the same mindset. We're in the same boat.
Mm.
My perspective, what I want to give to everyone who has seen the trailer to chat, right? this movie is going to be one of the most controversial movies coming out in 2025 because the thing is, as much as I say I'm the villain, in this episode, I do not want DC to fail. Marvel is doing its own thing in its own way, but DC has so much potential to bring a lot of good projects in the future coming up. And the thing that was mentioned with Whawkins is that the first thing is there's not a lot of time for DC to make these projects happen. You have to create the right movie at the right time for the right audience. Right now, DC has a lot of veteran viewers, a lot of old timers who have read these comics, who are very used to a lot of these characters, and a lot of newcomers, the newer generation of kids turning to teenagers, turning to adults who are getting familiar with these kind of stories. So the big thing I'm curious about with James Gunn is, are you portraying this movie more towards the veteran viewers, towards the newcomers, or a little bit of both? Because what he puts out at the end of the day will decide the future on DC overall, and that is just a legitimate fact. Like, if he fails on this, I would not blame him. I would blame more of DC than anything. He was just unfortunately one of the pawns that did try to do his best, and unfortunately it just didn't make the cut for us who are more familiar with these kind of stories. Now, the other thing you have mentioned, Watkins, but I want to say, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey, and that's 100% correct on the money. I'd rather care how Superman becomes to be Superman, the origin story, all that. I could rather care less about the romance with Lois Lane and Superman. I really like, mind you, I'm someone who is a romantic, a diehard romantic. I love for a romance anime. As someone who has seen this story so many fucking times, I could care less about whether or not Superman and Lois Lane kiss. I do not care. I'm more here about the originality of what makes Superman Superman, and that's what James Gunn is trying to bring to the table, and that's what I fear for the most. Bringing in an atmosphere of originality is going to be very tough for DC, and at the end of the day, what I'm very curious about is the characters in this specific movie. There's not a lot of people that know a lot about these characters, and I'm gonna be real with it. Some people don't know a lot about Hawkgirl. Some people don't know a lot about Lex Luthor and his origin story, too. Is James Gunn bringing these characters as a means to kind of like portray them to help out Superman's origin story? Are there a means to help them out with the introduction of his new universe coming to the future? Are they gonna have their own little arcs and explanations about what kind of characters they are? Or is the point of this movie to bring these characters and people who are familiar with the stories in the comics and the anime shows familiar with them? Because if that's the case, you're portraying to an audience that knows about it, and that's a bit of people. We're talking about people who are way older than us, who are more familiar with these comics, and that's truth. You're not portraying to the younger the younger generation, children who do like Superman and Batman. You have children who play with these action figures that may have gotten for Christmas and stuff like that. They know who these characters are. But if James Gunn is not going to portray to them and more focused towards the veteran viewers, I feel like he's making a wrong move there. I feel like this character is for everybody, but if you're introducing characters that no one's familiar with, you're going to confuse viewers and ultimately make the movie more complicated than it needs to be. And I hope that's ultimately not the case with him.
I hope so too. Like, just
there's a lot more to say towards that, but before I continue, want to say your little quick last thoughts overall before you head out.
Again, at the end of the day, I'm giving the movie right now an 8 out of 10. Not watching it, but
just trailer alone. Just trailer alone.
Just trailer alone. I think talking all my shit about DC overall, I think the movie is gonna do good. I think James Gunn has a potential here with this movie, but like I said, there's a lot of controversy with the movie. Excuse me. I feel like there's a lot going on. There might be certain things that we are not familiar with, that we don't understand yet, that we will see when the movie releases. But overall, this at the end of the day, this movie is a make or break. This is a movie that I would hope everyone has their eyes on. As much as I feel for James Gunn and his pressure to make this movie one of the best for DC, I hope it does succeed, because I would like to know more about where this universe could potentially go. But at the same time, if this movie fails, if it does not give us the original lore, the original origin story of Superman and what we want to see as viewers, I would not be surprised. And overall, I would just feel for DC, and that just shows that at the end of the day, they need to stop giving us remakes, reboots of live action things that the people are not asking for, and focus on lore stories of people, of characters that we generally want to see. Swamp Man, we did not want that. We, no matter, I don't care what anybody says, Swamp Man was trash. Who the fuck cares about Swamp Man, really? I would rather watch this movie than Swamp Man. Come on, DC, you can do better than that. We have a lot of hope for you. Do not let us down. Marvel's doing better than you. Shame on you. Shame on you.
Oh god.
I'm gonna control myself.
He was gonna get mad for that. I knew he was getting mad for that.
I'm gonna control myself, sir.
Oh.
I'm so happy I ended on that note.
Breathe out.
Wow, it feels like we're gonna be losing Crash, guys. He has to go to work. We're gonna continue on the show of the rest of the good stuff and optimistic talk tone about the good of DC Universe and DC Comics. So, Crash, it was a pleasure
Don't make
to
me
have
turn into a heel in the middle of this.
Oh my god.
It was a pleasure to have you, Crash. We appreciate you for being on for half the show and here for the discussion for the Superman and the Otaku News. Well,
No, thank you guys for having me, chat. Take over opinions with a grain of salt, but ultimately, at the end of the day, when the movie comes out, you will hear our review. But until then, it's a mystery what happens, really.
yes, on July
11?
11, I
Yes.
believe? Yes, July
Yeah.
11, yes.
Yep.
Damn, that's
On that note, boys, enjoy the rest of your podcast. Good luck. Chat, thank you for having me. I will see you guys potentially, hopefully, on the next episode.
on the Off the Bench in the next one. Take care.
You already know. Week 12. Get ready, chat. You ain't ready for my reviews. John the Don, about to be 9 out of 10.
Oh no. Oh no.
Peace, guys. Thank you.
Y'all not ready.
Boom,
Thus,
transition.
transition.
Boom, I did it in one go. Let's go.
I'll have to wait to see how it goes, but yeah, man, I'm just cautious. I don't want to get too hyped. It's just because that's the thing, and I know Crash had mentioned about the like origin story thing. Like, I don't mind if it's a if we're getting a Superman that is already Superman. Like,
Well,
I
the
don't
only
care if
time-
we're not getting that.
So,
yeah.
I'm not gonna ask you for the top of your head ranking of the Supermans we've gotten because I know you have not seen all of them either. Because the only time we got one that's already established is the Tyler Hoechlin Superman on the CW verse. That's the only one we actually have gotten that's been established. We have gotten two, the Kingdom Come adaptation of Brandon Roof, of his crossover in the CW verse. I believe this is when they did Infinite Crisis adaptation storyline. I believe is when they showed the Kingdom Come Brandon Roof Superman, and then the second version of the Tyler Hoechlin Superman of the Superman Lois show of the TV version. So that's the only two that we have already gotten an established one, and I like those. If anybody likes the Superman and Lois TV animated version, that one is similar to the live action one that we have gotten so far from, and that one was only 3 seasons. If you like established, if you like the human side of Clark Kent, and the one we've gotten is really good and appreciated.
Yeah, and I mean, I think with me, the one that I've liked so far has been Adventures with Superman. I like how we're doing the story of him becoming Superman in that, because like it's like that story, like it starts off with him out of college and all that, but like this is like year one Superman, where it's just like, oh yeah, just be a superhero and save the world. You got this new suit and all that stuff, and like the progression that they're making with that has been really good, and it kind of adds like that human aspect to it as well. But like one thing that we were talking before we got into this was like that whole idea of like, oh, this is a god among humans, and it's like the best story with Superman is him learning how to be a human
without
really.
being like we know he's a god. Like he knows he could fight Darkseid, Doomsday, because he could finally say, I never could release my full strength because of these puny humans. Now release this damn god strength that you've been holding. Hold the anger. Like one of my favorite scenes is when he fights the elemental dude, the Fatal Five, I think is their name in the animated movie.
Where he like actually goes all out.
Yeah, when he
and,
actually
like,
goes out.
a freaking supernova.
And I love that line. He said like, I've always held back, but you finally tell me to let loose. Yeah, I will let loose, and I love that line because
This
two
feels
characters,
good.
two characters in comic lore that we never get to see in pop culture that we never get to see release their full strength because they always fight humans is Spider-Man and Superman. Those are two characters
because,
that
like-
have so much power but can't let their power go. Literally has been versions of Spider-Man that has been controlled by Dr. Octavius, and Dr. Octavius literally used his pure strength when he was in the body of Peter Parker, and he literally, I'm sorry for me butchering the line, but he literally said it in the comic. He hits weaker against his opponents. That's what he knew, that the whole time Spider-Man has been holding him back against all of his opponents. Even if though he hates them, he still holds back. And that's the insane part.
Yeah. Now, and like a great contrast with that too, I forgot what movie this was. It was an animated movie. It was the one where Superman's dying, but he ends up like giving somehow or some way
All-Star
Lex Luthor
Superman.
gets Superman's. Yeah, that's it. Like Lex Luthor ends up getting Superman's powers, and he's just looking around. He's just like, "Wow, this is what you see," because like he's able to see like all of the atoms and molecules and shit. Yeah, dude. Oh, dude, same here. It's just like, wow, this is what you see. This is what you are. Oh my god. And like that's always the best kind of Superman stories. It's like, how can I be a human among these humans when I'm a freaking god? Like, and I'm kind of hoping this movie does that too, because like, especially with if we're seeing like all these other heroes,
It proves
like
to me.
you see Guy Gardner.
It proved to me because of what you just said right now. Because we're gonna see the first thing we see is dude doing the Yamcha pose. We haven't even acknowledged that. He's literally doing the Yamcha pose to the ground. Me seeing that and him literally whistling. I just got goosebumps again. Him literally whistling to Crypto. And he literally telling Crypto, go home. He literally, yo, sniff my coat to bring my ass home. That just means this man is so exhausted that he got his ass kicked by somebody that he can't even fly himself off the air of gravity to go home. He asked his dog, pick my ass up and drag me home. And that's what he did. The dog was there, us dragging him across North Pole, I assume. In which also, we didn't even bring it up. We saw his Fortress of Solitude coming out, which I always get excited to see that because it's always cool. Because this is when the artist always could get to give new design of the Fortress of Solitude. Because, chat, I will say this. Sometimes it looks straight ass. Like, the outside of the Fortress of Solitude sometimes looks bad, like sometimes looks ugly. So I'm really curious to see how this one looks because it reminds me of the Smallville version. In the Smallville version, I like the outside of it, like all the towers coming out, but then the inside
like,
looks like an actual ice, and then he has the version of his family, like, you know, just other version of the fortress. But like that shows me we're about to see the human side where he gets his ass kicked, bleeding out. So that must mean that somebody gave him the actual hands. He has the Yamcha pose, and we're in the North Pole or somewhere around the fortress. So that's like that got me excited.
watch it just be Lex Luthor with freaking kryptonite.
If he gets the green
Watch it
suit
just do
already,
that.
it'll be way too fast. I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Like this has to be in the second or third movie because Lex Luthor, by the way, I like his building. Like
I do
the way
like,
he Lex Corp, it looks really cool. Like it looks very evil organization always. It's like, okay, you have to be in the middle, not the penthouse, but the middle of your own tower. Okay, sure. Of course, you have to be under your big ass letters, of course. And I really like this. Look, as much as people could shit on about Jesse Eisenberg, I feel bad for him because I don't know if you saw the news report about it a day or two ago, but he said that he feels like that role of him killed his career, which honestly, it sucks to say. It might have.
Yeah.
Because people make fun of the lollipop or the Jolly Rancher scene of him putting it into somebody else's mouth. People always make fun of that scene, and I feel bad because he's actually a great actor, but that role made him feel weird for people, and I get it. But this role for Lex Luthor, I forgot the actor, my apologies, but he looks really good. My guy looks like he hates Superman already, so it looks like he's just paid by the numbers already.
Yeah. No, like he looked really good in the movie. And like that's the thing. It's like the designs of everybody looked really good. The CGI, it looked pretty good. I mean, looking at Crypto just on your background here, on my monitor, it's just like, you know what, Crypto looked really good. That actually looked like a dog, you
It
know,
did.
and even like the running, like of him running up too, like
It
that
did.
looked really good. I was just like, Crypto.
Look, honestly, it threw me off for a couple seconds, but I had to accept that we're watching a live action dog, not the smooth,
Yep.
like the smooth skinned, hairless dog that we had in the original series. We're like, wait. It'll probably be
Oh my
harder
God, this
to
is
make
an
it too
actual
smooth.
dog.
Yeah, like in my head, I'm like, it would probably be harder to draw the actual animated version of the old school Crypto having that smooth type of pippo skin coat. Like, probably hard, so I feel like it might be easier here. But still cute dog.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with it. And by the way, for those that don't know, this dog is the actual dog of James Gunn, I believe, or he adopted this dog, I believe after he
Aw,
did.
good pup.
I know somewhere in between every part you said is kind of true. So my apologies if I did butcher. But overall, this dog is adorable. It said that report was that this dog saved James Gunn mentors or something he was going through during that time of filming process. That this dog changed the script a bit and Crypto was added to the story. So it showed that this dog probably was the dog was probably a good actor. I don't know how what else to add more of that sentence, but yes.
See, okay, that kind of also worried me too, when you just said that he was just kind of added last minute. I'm just
Not
like,
added last
oh,
minute.
wait,
It
hold
just
on.
got a revision. It got
okay.
revision to the story, like in between. From what I know, from what I read of the report, it just got revision to the story.
Okay, hopefully it's not like yeah. I, cautiously optimistic
also,
is how I just
Look, last thing as well, we spoke about this off air that July 11th is an interesting time because 6 weeks before that, Fantastic Four is coming out in May.
Oh yeah.
So that's an interesting time. Like,
I'm more excited for
like
Superman.
we're in. Oh yeah. Chat, I'm gonna say that as well. I'm more excited for Superman. Look, we have had more Superman versions of iteration, like 7 live actions, but we have had better versions of live action than Fantastic Four live action. We had 3, I believe, or 4 of Fantastic Four, and all of them were ass. As much as I could say any good out of them, all of them were ass. Like, if you want to say, would you really pick and choose which one to watch? I'd rather watch Man of Steel, the Smallville. I'd rather watch live action on the Superman Lois. I'd rather watch
I'd rather
the
watch
Christopher
Black Adam.
Reeves. Damn, really?
I'd rather watch Black Adam
yeah.
and
I'd rather
the
watch...
other 2 Shazam movies.
Yes, I would too. I will find a couple more jokes. The only reason I'm watching Fantastic Four is because my enjoyment of the Fantastic Four lore. I don't want to watch a fucking Galactus Cloud. I'm sorry. I love the Silver Surfer, but fucking Galactus Cloud, like, nah. This dude is a 25,000 feet or ton space god of Galactus, and you're telling me that this man is a cloud? Nah, don't fuck me over. Talking about Cloud, like, look, if we set this up in a grand story universe of Superman, we might be seeing a good version of Darkseid. An actually good design.
That is true. Yeah, we might be getting a good Darkseid. We might be getting a better Doomsday. And maybe we'll actually get like a Hawkgirl movie or something. I don't remember if I even saw what their plan is with like the next few things. Cause like, I think too, before we started, you had mentioned something about like how DC had 2 projects going into 2025.
Yes, 2025
but like
is
4 going into 2026.
Yeah, 2025 has
Yeah.
Superman and Peacemaker season 2. Had not yet released date yet, but for 2026 is Supergirl. Batman 2, I believe, is supposed to be, and there's will be 2 more other projects I can't remember the top of my head. But for this year, it was only the Penguin, which I still haven't seen, but I need to see on Max. Is the Penguin?
Me too.
And the Creature Commandos, but I have not seen those. I'll probably make the time for us to see it and maybe have some coverage in the future for it. But those only 2 that came out this year, and then for next year, Superman and Peacemaker. While you give your thoughts, I will quickly double check what's coming out next year.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's just the thing. It's just like, I just hope they don't overload themselves or us as the consumers, because like that's kind of what happened with MCU back during COVID time, where it's just like, oh, here's like 5 different projects, as soon as one show ends, here's the next one, and it's just like, oh, Well, nobody's really talking about them much beyond that, but yeah, that's whatever. But yeah, I'm more excited for Superman than I am Fantastic Four. So that should tell you the level of investment I have when it comes to MCU bullshittery. Uh, yeah, I mean, I'm just excited for the movie. I hope it's good. Just as usual with these superhero movies, I go in cautiously optimistic.
So from the release date of 2026, it is for sure Supergirl, Batman 2, Clayface, and that's about it at the moment.
Oh, that's right. Clayface is getting his own movie.
Yes.
Interesting. Oh, I remember what I was going to ask. Is the Robert Pattinson Batman? Because you had mentioned that as a project for DC. Is
So
that's
still
not part of this
that's
universe,
still considering
right? Or
Elseworld. So we are in Earth Prime.
okay,
Earth One is what James Gunn will call it for our Superman, the Blue Beetle, Peacemaker. These are still considered
okay.
Earth One for us. But for the Batman and creature, no, the Batman and there's the Penguin. There's another project. Those are considered Elseworld projects. But James Gunn has said, not James Gunn himself, but it's a report that they're
Hmm.
considering Robert Pattinson version of the Batman to be the Batman version for us.
Okay, because then they're gonna have to. There's some other things that they're gonna have to work around then too, as we saw when the MCU was just like, oh yeah, those Netflix shows about those Marvel properties,
I
those
hope
are
not,
part of the MCU.
because
It's
that's
just
why
like,
exactly. Because now
yeah,
they're gonna dive themselves into plot holes of the thing I literally said in the beginning
mm-hmm,
of our conversation of this segment. Hey, I love how they're
yep,
establishing all these heroes. But then, this is what happened to Marvel because of their mistakes. You know, they're having this. I'm like, the only way James Gunn could do this and save himself a headache if he established that there's a Batman already. They don't have to say who, or they don't have to say where the Batman, and they have to say there's I'm drawing blank on the Gotham City. They have to
mm-hmm,
reference them. So that means Lois Lane. Oh, perfect. In the Daily Planet, they could talk about, hey, who's the mass vigilante who's causing problems over there? Yeah, the Batman. They could talk about him. They could
mm-hmm,
mention that. Oh, I remember last year they had a falling out with the Penguin. If they mentioned that, they could literally substitute Robert Pattinson Batman, or they could reference another Batman. So now they don't really have a
yeah,
problem. So they could save themselves that issue. Now, on the other side
exactly,
of the actual Matt Reeves, the Batman 2, they just have to fix their issue about referencing the Superman, but they don't really have to,
mm-hmm,
since they could just literally say that, Superman just literally happened last week for them in their story. So they could really save themselves, but depending, would I like to see Robert Pattinson Batman connect with this Superman? No, because I would like it to stay in his own universe. I like it if it stays in
yeah,
Elseworld. I don't mind there being two Batmans. I'm okay with that. We have had that before. I'm okay with that. I'm not too stressed about it.
yeah, yeah. And that's the thing. Just as long as you don't make things confusing, because that's the thing with audiences. You don't want to confuse your audiences. You just want to make sure things are set and established, so that way people know exactly what they're getting into and all that. But yeah, I mean, I don't really have any other thoughts besides,
My
I'm
last
looking
thought
forward
is
to the
this.
movie.
The slow mo shots. I'm just rewatching the trailer right now, so I just want to give my quick thoughts
Yeah.
about it, because the slow mo shot of him saving the girl that happened in the 125 mark, really good. The way
Hmm.
like it should
Oh
show.
yeah.
James Gunn is always good with slow mo shots, but it felt like he's starting to, not saying turn into like Michael Bay slow mo shots, but I feel like a better version of how Michael Bay does it, but it's more like for the etchy shots or like the slow mo, just to
Hmm.
give it a highlight of the robot or what the scene is. But with James Gunn, he does it more in a slow mo, fast pace. Like he show it and then it's gone already. So it's
Yeah.
just really cool. Um, Lex Luthor already being angry once he sees fucking Superman like flying by Metropolis or LexCorp is fucking hilarious. Like
Hmm.
that scene, he literally just looks at him and like, and it turns out like, fuck this dude, man. I gotta deal with this bullshit fucking
So he's
alien
like,
from space.
man.
I gotta make this call. I gotta make this, I gotta hire this gunman. Like he's so serious on that. So I love that. Um,
Hmm.
but then him having a gun already, so that's really interesting. And with Superman, having a flag showing that other worlds are kind of showing the flag that they support or they believe in the hope. I
Mhm.
wonder if they're gonna also give that message because um I'm not sure if I ever said this on the stream, but I'm sure I've said this to people that I would be getting a tattoo of Superman of Kal-El, like the House of El, because I believe in the hope message. You know, they call me optimistic Vash, so I think that's a very obvious thing of getting a tattoo of the character of hope that literally embodies the hope aspect of the character.
Yeah. I will get a tattoo of Yamcha pose Superman.
One thing I was excited
Just
about
for that.
is Guy Gardner throwing the Flash. I'm
Mhm.
sorry, not the Flash, the Green Lantern ring to the people. That is really portrays to Guy Gardner because Guy
Yeah.
Gardner always hates the humans, even though this motherfucker's a human. So it's really
Mm.
portrays to that, and I really like that. Like in this one image of 2 seconds, it literally just shows him walking to Superman. So they already have a relationship, or they just met that day, or who knows. But it shows that he's protecting Superman. He's shooting to the people without breaking the glass. So he's like
Mhm.
he's kind of taunting them, and it's really, I love that imagery because Guy Gardner always does that. He taunts the people.
Yeah. I mean, hell, maybe he's the one that busted up Superman. You know, like
It would
he is
be.
a superhero after all.
It would be interesting. The one thing that I'm lost throughout this, who the fuck is that robot? By the way, you have any theories on who that robot is that he was
Oh,
crying over?
don't even. You know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna say it. It's fucking Brainiac.
Well, I
Like,
believe
with lack of a better term or knowledge of who that could be, fuck it. It's early Brainiac. There you go.
I believe we get Brainiac in the movie. I think Brainiac is the big bad. I believe.
Well, then even better. Like, he thinks Brainiac's dead, but nope, he's still alive. It's like, oh, okay,
I'm
great.
excited for Brainiac because Brainiac always fucking
Mhm.
tricks Kal-El. He always tricks him in the
See,
comics. So I'm really curious to see how does this happen this time.
season 2 of My Adventures with Superman, it's Brainiac. It's really good. It's really good how they do it and how they twist it and all that stuff. Like, y'all gotta watch it. If you haven't watched it already, go ahead and watch it.
Definitely for sure. But other than
Yeah.
that, that's just me rewatching the trailer the last 20, 30 seconds. Oh, the last thing I would say, if it gave me a
Mhm.
Star Wars vibe, it felt like A New Hope. It felt like they were
Oh yeah,
showing
with
us
the music.
the
Mhm.
music, the way like it begins, it starts, like showing all these type of like the New Hope type of reference style.
Yeah. No, I get that fully.
All right, so it seems like, hey, Chad, we spoke enough about the Superman. We spoke about for a good 40 minutes of the Superman trailer. We broke it down, the thoughts. Let us know down in the comment section down below what you guys think about this trailer. Were you hype about this? Did you feel the same? Are you excited? Or you have some type of hesitation of watching it? If not, are you gonna be on this jump train and are you okay for leaving our boy Henry Cavill behind and that he's now gone as our Superman?
Kick him to the curb. Get out of here, Henry Cavill.
But
You did enough.
what we're here to discuss about is the Game Awards results. It has happened. The Game Awards of 2024 has ended. The big 10-year anniversary is finally gone. So we're gonna talk about the results. So we're gonna just do a little rapid fire of the results.
Yeah.
If you want to hear our predictions, our full conversation, go check out to episode 150. No, sorry, 160. Go check out 160 because it was a full hour, 40 minutes of conversation of the prediction, full
Mhm.
breakdown, thoughts of myself, Whawkins, and Jokester who hosted that episode. So go check that out. And if you want to check out 159, where we spoke about the Weaves National Otaku News since then 2 weeks ago. Now we're here for the results and see where it led up to. So we have our first one. Whawkins, talk to us. What were the results?
It's all right. So yeah, like we'll go through each category and guess give our thoughts about what we feel, if we feel anything towards any of these winners. So let's start our list down. Best adaptations. Fallout winning this. Now, this won over something like Arcane, which you think, oh, that would definitely win best adaptation, but Fallout won. And I'm mainly going to turn this over to you because Arcane, out of that whole list, I think, yeah, Arcane was the only one I even watched on there. So I'm going to really kind of pivot to you with this one because you said you had a theory about why this got
best adaptation.
Look, the reason I believe for best adaptation, for this to happen out of Arcane, because Fallout was a game adaptation actually from the game of
Mhm.
Fallout the series. Arcane, as much as that we would love to admit to it, was not an adaptation to Arcane of League of Legends. Arcane was an adaptation to the characters of League of Legends
Mhm.
and expanded to their bios. They just made a whole new lore. Even Crash, who's a fan of the game of League of Legends, even told us that there was never an actual story of League of Legends. It was just a bio to the characters. Many fans, spoilers, didn't know Violet and Jinx were sisters or not. People was saying that, oh, it was very vague. People theorized, oh, it could be. But then season 2 confirmed that they were actual sisters, not adopted. Not one was older, not one was younger. No, it was actually confirmed that these two are blood sisters, just had the same parents. They saw them get killed in season 1, episode 1, in their war against Piltover and Ron, Khan, I forget the name, the correct pronunciation,
Mhm.
but there. So when it comes to that, is how I tell myself the understanding and respect that the reason adaptation for best game, it was Fallout, and I've come to respect
Okay.
and understand it because Arcane was a better show. If it was best show adaptation, it will probably be going to Arcane, but best adaptation of the game will definitely, I agree, with Fallout because Knuckles, I fell asleep on episode 1, the end, and I'm gonna continue it because I need to watch it because tomorrow is gonna be Sonic 3. We'll be talking about it, but I did try to watch Knuckles because I binge watched season 1 and 2. Spoiler, for Sonic 1 and Sonic 2, I did watch. That will be for my Weeb's Lounge, but I saw Knuckles. I don't recall, chat. I do not recall. I'm gonna be honest. I do not recall if I finished Knuckles episode 1. I recall seeing it. I do not recall. So I need to literally go back to Paramount and be like, okay, I did finish it.
That right there should give you everything you need to know about that dumbass Knuckles series.
Look.
Like,
Once
oh,
I found out by the end of episode 1, or somewhat I remember, is that Knuckles need to stop destroying the house or destroying the forest or invading the people that's trying to renovate their house because of the big hole they have, and Knuckles keeps destroying them or putting them in traps or whatever. It's like, okay, so this is a full Knuckles episode. This could have been literally 3 episodes instead of 6, if that's the case. From my reading and understanding of story-wise of what we're introduced, this could have been 3 episodes instead of 6. But I will still watch it within the next 24 hours. I will watch it so I can see it myself. But that's my big, long explanation of understanding why Fallout 1 instead of Arcane. Because Arcane was an adaptation of the lore of the bios of League of Legends, not an actual adaptation of what was established lore to become an adaptation. It expanded on the lore, and Fallout did an actual adaptation of the game because next season of the sequel will be Fallout Las Vegas, and that one is adapting the actual lore of Fallout Las Vegas as well.
okay, all right. I didn't know they were going to be adapting Las Vegas then. Okay, that's interesting.
Well, yeah, because in the Game
okay.
Awards, they said it. The guy that was voicing the one of the characters and everything, or I think one of the writers, he said, "We will see you in Las Vegas." You know, that was literally them, literally dropping that what's the next season going to be about. And also, I know a friend that's working on the show right now.
Oh, well, ew, look at him go. Sorry, I'm doing a little bit of editing on here because I'm realizing a lot of these winners won multiple things. So we'll probably kind of touch on each one, I guess, just with each game. So we're going to move on to our next 2 categories. Best multiplayer / ongoing. Helldivers 2 won both of these.
Bullshit. That's some bullshit. That's
Yeah.
some bullshit. Respectfully. And
That-
I'm sorry to the studio. I'm sorry to the fans. And I'm sorry. You guys gave us a lot of memes. But I'm sorry. You guys should have not won. The best ongoing should have gone to Fortnite. Fortnite in 2024 has done so much for the community and for the fans that for Fortnite not to win is a travesty. That's my honest opinion. For multiplayer, I can't really say I haven't played much of the multiplayers, but I also should have said that I should have gone to Fortnite. Call of Duty maybe because it's actually one of the best games that Call of Duty has put out in the recent years. So that's also something I could say towards that. But Fortnite losing it's a travesty.
Yeah, because normally I have to go back and look at what it's won in the past, but usually that does win, like ongoing at least. But yeah, I mean, most of my knowledge with it has to deal with what I heard about like the servers and how, especially because that was during the time where the leaks for PSN came out, and it was because of Helldivers 2 that happened. So it's just like, okay, we're really going to, let this game be it. Okay, fine, whatever. I mean, it won some stuff, cool, neat, awesome.
Like the only the only best multiplayer on that list, they had Call of Duty, they had Super Mario, they had Tekken 8 and Warhammer. Out of those for best multiplayer, it's like you don't really have much options, so it's hard to choose out of those. And Helldivers to win, like I guess out of those, yes, but for ongoing, it should have gone to Fortnite for sure.
Yeah, and yeah, it should have gone for that one. So let's just move right on to the best fighting game of 2024. It turned out to be Tekken 8.
Well deserved.
Not really surprised with that. Yeah, I mean, if you listen to our discussions about it last week when the episode came out, yeah, I mean, Tekken 8 is up there with fighting games and all that, and it's an actual fighting game. Like, as much as I love you, Sparking Zero, you're not a fighting game. You're a fun little sandbox to just be a god in, Let's see. Okay, so where were we going from here?
RPG
we have
and art director narrative to be a metaphor.
Yeah, so this makes sense to me because, again, this is Atlas doing its thing. So, like, the team behind Persona and all that. So, like, them getting, like, art direction, for example, makes sense because, like, a lot of the art and screenshots I've seen from the game.
It looks amazing.
Oh, they look...
I will not take that away from it.
Really good.
I will not take that away from it. The game looks amazing on its own, but still shocked that Persona 3 Reloaded was not in this list. Because if Persona 3 Reloaded was here, it would have been questionable. I tried to do research during the week of Game Awards to see why it wasn't included, and I couldn't find out the reason. But if I had to choose between Persona 3 Reloaded or Metaphor to win as a studio from Atlas, it's like, would you want a reestablished game to continue winning, or would you want a new game that you guys put out as Metaphor and to build a new IP? And if I'm a studio like them, I would choose Metaphor, build a new IP.
Yeah, like, and that's what I would do. And that's the thing with, like, Metaphor. That's why, like, part of me surprised it won Best Narrative. But I'm also not surprised because, like, I'm glad I wasn't spoiled on the narrative because now I can go into it, which, I had planned on getting it anyways. I just needed, the good old dinero to get it and all that. But, like, I'm glad I wasn't spoiled on the story, so that way now I can see why it won that award. And, I mean, Best RPG, I mean, say what you want about, like, turn-based RPGs and games and all that. I personally love them because I like strategizing like that a bit. Like, Pokemon, for example. I love Pokemon. That's turn-based. The Digimon Cyber Sleuth is turn-based, and I love that game. You said that. But, like...
Damn, you said that.
Oh, well, look, I like my turn-based games, They're fun.
I say that is because not saying I hate turn-based game, but you said something that made me feel like, fuck, he makes a good point, because I don't play that much turn-based game, even though I like them. I want to love them because there's so many good out there, like Persona and a few others. But I've played Pokemon. I love Pokemon, but I don't play the many others turn-based games. So it's very contradictory how much I love Pokemon, but I don't play others. So it's like I really need to expand my palette to actually experiment that.
Yeah. So, and I mean, again, best RPG, yeah, fine, whatever, cool, neat. Best action game, and the one that got the People's Choice Award for it, Black Myth Wukong.
Your boy.
I mean, first of all, best action game, yes, as it should. People's Choice, thank you, because at least the masses know what's up, until we get to the game of the year here when we unleash fury or whatever on that. But at least the people know. At least the people appreciate what Wukong is. But you know what? As much as I will probably shit on Astrobot, because I haven't played it yet, but until tonight. As much as I'll, jokingly say all that stuff, I'm glad Wukong didn't win because, hey, here's the thing. Wukong is a story about self. It's a story, it's a game about,
You learn the lessons along the
becoming
journey.
better. Exactly, and like, do you really need an award to really, tell yourself that you're awesome? Or just, you know what? You're awesome. There's bliss, there's happiness in the world. You don't need some sort of material trophy to just sit there as a paperweight. Nah, you know deep inside, deep in your soul, that's your game of the year. And you know what? The people agreed. So there you go. There's your game of the year. Your
Look,
actual game
congrats
of
to
the year.
Wukong. I don't honestly, congrats. It was deserved. I've seen clips from Watkins to play the game. I will one day play it myself when the time comes. Just haven't gone to it. But I'm excited to talk about the next games that won. The fucking card
Oh
game.
yeah. Yeah, so best mobile and best debut indie came out to be Balatro. Now, I haven't downloaded this yet. I say yet, but part of me doesn't want to get it because I heard of how addicting it is, and I don't want to succumb myself to that. But yeah, a lot of people, like, once they pick it up, are saying, "Oh, I get it now. I get why it was nominated for so much."
It has the number one in card game. It has the People's Choice and Editing Choice Award in apps. It has a 5.0 rating
That's
on the App Store,
crazy.
28K rating, and is the number one in the chart right now for gaming.
That is insane. It's over a card game.
And
A
plus,
freaking
chat, it costs
card game.
$10 on the App Store. By the way,
I don't want to spend $10 on a card game. I'll just buy one of my other. Well, not buy. I'll just download one of the other BS toilet games that I play on the
Yeah.
toilet.
So me,
You know?
it's like, nah, $10 on this game and you won. Hey,
Good.
congrats! Look, congrats to the mobile game,
Yeah.
the debut indie. As a debut indie game, you deserve the awards because you put the hard work of the years. Very funny still to highlight the last year winner. I believe it was Uttering winner. They gave a speech. Very controversial that people are kind of on the flip side. How is he talking about the CEOs and the people that make the games, that talks about the games, but then he's one of the people that are in charge of it and could fire anybody as they please. So it's very interesting in that type of conversation. So either way, for any indie game to win an award like this, in this high regard, in this magnitude, in the game awards that people see as a prestige, you should pat yourself in the back as a congratulations. As much as that, I will not be paying $10, but congratulations for those that have.
Yeah, exactly. Congratulations all around for all the hard work y'all put into making a card game be game of the year worthy. Good on you guys. Good on you. Community support went to Baldur's Gate 3, which fine. There's a lot of stuff that they add, a lot of updates that I think they do for the game.
I believe we spoke about this during our predictions that it could have gone to them. Like we said this as an option, so I'm okay with them winning. And I know the fan base and community is very big on Baldur's Gate. I know a few people I've met that already has had done like about 3 campaigns in Baldur's Gate, and it's just because they love the game. So
That's
it shows
crazy.
So it showed that if you could actually redo the game yourself, and it shows that this game is entertaining, and that's the point of a game.
Yeah.
Is to do reruns. Where I know Watkins be telling me, "Oh, he's playing for the fourth time of Grand Theft Auto," and I'm like, "How could you do that?" But it shows that
like it.
But it's the point that if Watkins like it, it means the game did its job. I don't mind playing Spider-Man for the 3rd or 4th time. It's because I like it.
I don't either.
Would I replay other games? No. Would I replay Kingdom Hearts right now at this moment? Maybe yes. Kingdom Hearts and also Final Fantasy. Yes, at the time, 5-6 years ago when I played them, they gave me a headache because I was stuck in a part, and I said, "Fuck you! I will never go back to you." Now I'll probably maybe try harder. Maybe we'll have a new mindset.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I don't have many thoughts on that. Now, score/music, that went to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which I believe I said it in that episode last week. It wouldn't surprise me if it won it, and it did win it, and I'm not surprised
Me
because
neither.
that score that they like, the music itself, I mean, that's something I put on while I'm at work. Like, it's just in the background for me, like just listening to, some of the background music that they have, and like some of the updates that they did with a lot of tracks from the original not movie, the original game and all that. Like, they did really well with that music. So yeah, I mean,
The one score I
makes
listen
sense.
to, I believe, is the Sephiroth score that comes on at times.
Oh yeah, the one-winged angel
Yeah.
score. Yeah, dude.
That one is
Yeah,
nice.
it's so good.
I've chosen not to listen to all the scores since I haven't played the game yet, so I don't want to spoil myself. But I've
Mhm.
listened to a few just because you sometimes want to hear some holy music in the background just cause.
Oh yeah.
And now let's talk about the final one, the game of
Oh
the
yeah,
year,
the one
family action, adventure, and direction. It won fucking 4
went to
awards.
Astrobot. Went to Astrobot. Astrobot walked away with at least 4. I know I walked away with some more, and we're just talking about the categories that we talked about last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, Astrobot won a lot. Now, family game, that doesn't surprise me because it is a game that you could just kind of sit there with a little kid and be like, "Oh, look at the cute little robots and all that," or the little kid trying to play, be like, "Mom, Dad, can you beat this level for me?" Like
Yeah.
things like that. So, family, that doesn't really surprise me. Direction, that kind of surprised me because like there were some games that were directed really well, like especially as a story and all that. And because I know this is an art direction because that was freaking Metaphor or whatever, but it's like that's why again I kind of want to play it so I can be like, okay, why? Like, how did this get over things like Wukong, for example? How did it get over things like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth when we get into all that? Action adventure, I'd have to look at the list again to see what it went over because I don't think Wukong was in that because Wukong was an action game.
You said the best art direction. You want to know the nominees?
Well, this is direction, not art direction.
Oh,
Because
direction.
Metaphor got art direction, yeah.
Best direction. Give me a second. I got you.
Actually, yeah. Wait, hold on. Oh wait, I have it right here. Debut indie game, independent game. Where were you? 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 Where were multiple adapted, anticipated content, esports, stupid esports. If you're into esports, why?
The best game direction that
Here we go.
was Belacho, Black Man Wukong, Elden Ring, Final Fantasy, and Metaphor.
Yeah, so it's like, how did you get over Elden Ring? I guess because a lot of people praise that for its story.
A lot of the fans were
but-
upset about
Yeah.
Elden Ring not winning, but then also having an
Mhm.
announcement of a co-op game coming next year. So that's also very hilarious.
I guess another part too. Maybe I'm just mixing it up too with like narrative, because I guess game direction would mainly fall into, okay, how does like gameplay change with each level? How do we expand on things? So I guess maybe that could be where Astrobot does take it, because like you do have different levels, you're doing like different things,
Yeah.
and like there's different characters you get and all that. So okay, I guess more talking about it, more like processing, I guess I could see that more.
For me,
Game of the year though.
Astrobot won for Game of the Year, and I'm okay with, because as somebody who's a fan of Little Big Planet,
Mhm.
as somebody who grew up with our boy Stackboy, who was the face of PlayStation for a while back in the PlayStation 3 days when it first aired, and then PlayStation 4, and then somehow he just kind of died over, and Sackboy just got rebooted to Astrobot. And I'm okay with it, because it's hilarious that people lost to Elden Ring, and a studio like this, for Sony to win Game of the Year. As much as you could say about the controversy for Sony, the studio, as a gaming, as an anime company, or whatever it comes to, Sony made a good game. if it wasn't for the company, it was the individuals, and I gotta thank them. Astrobot, I will be playing it soon. Thankful to my friends. I'll be having the opportunity to play the game, to see the world of the new version of my boy Sackboy and Astrobot. It looks cute. It looks fun. I will get to play it very soon, so I could actually have a better mindset of why this game won. But to me, it's more hilarious that it sucks that for Final Fantasy they didn't win the big prestige of Game of the Awards, but they did win Game of the Year for another award show that weekend, I believe. I don't remember the award show that won for it. But for Elden Ring, to me, I'm glad it didn't win just for the fun of it. Like, oh, DLC didn't win. I'm like, yeah, okay, guys.
We added DLC.
Well, guess what? We got Astrobot, a game that's cute and adorable, and won. That's it. Call it a day.
And I think the one thing I'm hopeful for with Astrobot winning Game of the Year is I'm hoping this kind of leads to more studios realizing, hey, as great as these narrative games are, as cool as these, as some people like to put it, interactive movies are, why not go back to those old platformers? Like Astrobot should be an eye opener to be like, okay, you know what? Maybe some studios should go back to like their Sly Coopers and their Ratchet and Clanks.
Yes, I love Ratchet and Clank.
Jack and Daxters and their who else am I thinking of? Like, I mean, Nintendo has like Mario and all that bullshit. So
exactly,
like, we're fine on the Nintendo side of things.
But Sony has slack on these games where these were Sony starters. Their PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, these were their starters, but they have lost that identity of them, and that's why I hope Astrobot, brings it back with Sly, Sly the Dragons, all these characters that you named that I just got excited from hearing them. So that's something I would love. Like Ratchet and Clank, I haven't played their new one from 2021, 2022, but I love the old ones.
It's really good. It's really fun.
Oh, I love to hear it.
It's really fun.
I plan to play it. I love Ratchet and Clank and their story, and we got like a filmer version, and I can't imagine what the internet has of her in that type of dark website. So just to see the characters of Sony having their own mascot once again, hopefully Sony could recuperate with like, hey, let's go back to our roots. Let's show that we are these type of people we used to have, where we have Astrobot, we have Dark Sackboy. Maybe he might come back now as the little cameo in their games or something. That would be amazing. Because Nintendo has Mario Odyssey, Legend of Zelda, these platform games that we could, pick and choose, the puzzles and everything. It's all fun. I want these type of games for Sony as well.
Yeah, exactly. So just give us more. We like to have fun. That's what video games are. They're fun. And I'm not saying I don't want my narrative heavy games, because I like those. I love the God of War games. I'm trying to get into like the Horizon games. But like, we've gotten to a point where it's just like there's so many of them, and that seems to be all these companies are caring about.
Sometimes you don't want to get your ass kicked by a god every single second. You just want to just have fun in a game with just pick a puzzle and just kick back.
Sometimes I just want to stomp on a Goomba.
Exactly,
because they deserve to be stomped. I mean, look at them.
But like Whawkins said, this is our Game Award results. A quick conversation about it, what is good about it, what it was, what came out of it, and if you're willing to spend $10 on a game on your app store and play cards. If not, you could download your own free version, like you could on the Weebs Lounge, where we're discussing personal updates and the latest media we have consumed. It's time for our weekly check-ins and the highs and lows, along with the latest anime, manga, media we've been enjoying. So pour over your cup and drink of your choice, settle in, let's connect in our personal side of our journey and the media that's been keeping us entertained. So let's have the live media lounge. How's everyone doing? Well, not everyone. How are you doing, Whawkins? Because the last time we were here is December 5th, 2024, of what we've been discussing. And since we're about to wrap our show, we could just have a quick conversation of what we've been doing, just you and me. The holiday season is here.
Yeah, well, I mean, hell, I'm kind of dressed in my little holiday garb that I like to wear. This is actually an old hat. This is actually my grandfather's hat that he had, that I ended up having after he passed and all that. So
nice.
It's one of those like holiday hats to wear and all that.
Me, I'm just wearing my boy just being gear second.
I mean, that's fine. That's also badass, But Man, so I don't have work for the next couple weeks. Like, so you guys are actually seeing me. This is vacation walk-ins right now.
That
Like,
is true.
I'm about to enter
Chad,
a mindset. Like,
that's another reason why I told Walker last night, like, hey, I'm enjoying this guy time, just us hanging out. Hey guys, wanna stream in the morning? I was waiting
It's
for
like,
like a
oh, yeah.
yes. They were like, yeah, sure. I'm like, oh, a morning podcast stream. It's been a while. Let's do this. So I was very excited for that
Yeah.
because, Chad, it's always been my vision to have the anime podcast or most podcasts be mornings. So nighttime we
Mhm.
could just do gaming stream. And I've been telling Walker like, hey, now that you're on vacation, let's do some gaming stream. Let's do this things that we've been
Yeah.
planning for months but haven't found the time for. Let's do it. Let's tackle it.
Yeah, so stay tuned for some of that stuff. Hopefully coming, maybe in like the next week or so.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like I finally have some time. I can catch up on some things because like I've been behind on a lot of anime this especially this season. I mean, I've been keeping up luckily with Bleach, that anime. Again, like I said earlier, Don I've been seeing some of the scenes going around. I just need to actually just watch the episodes so I at least can say, hey, I saw the season and all that. Dragon Ball Daima has also fallen to the wayside, so that's on the list as well. And plus, like, there's some other shows I was watching this year that I kind of want to get back into. And yeah, Astrobot's gonna be downloaded, so same with Metaphor, so I'll be starting those here soon. And tomorrow, as of recording, tomorrow I'm seeing Sonic 3. So that's gonna be fun. That's gonna be really an enjoyable time. And I'm gonna try to rewatch the first two today as well, but they might end up just being background noise for a bit because I got some other videes.
Well, guess
and
what?
stuff
I
need
did.
to work on.
I did rewatch what you just said. I had rewatched Sonic 1 and 2.
Yeah. Exactly. Look at that transition, everybody.
The transition is amazing out here. But look, Vash did check out 3 things. He did binge 3 things. As much as jokes aside, about Knuckles, I did rewatch Sonic 1 and 2 because Vash was not feeling well a couple days ago and wifey wanted to binge watch some stuff. So I gave the suggestion for Sonic 1, then we did Sonic 1 and 2. And Sonic 1, look, Chad, I'll tell you this, more funnier than I remember because we had, I don't know if this was on purpose for them. They had Keanu Reeves showing in Speed in the beginning when a boy Sonic was stalking our boy Tom and his girl, but then now 5-6 years later we show Sonic 3 with Keanu Reeves as Shadow. So I wonder if they're gonna make a joke about that. And I found out, I believe Crash said in the red carpet that they did mention that. So I'm really curious to see when it happens, when we see it, what or how it will be. Whawkins said that he'll be watching Sonic 3 on Friday night. That's why he won't be here for Weeps of the Ring. I will be here with Drop. So stay tuned. If you guys do watch wrestling, go check out our spin-off channel, Weeps of the Ring, where me and Drop will be reviewing Friday Night SmackDown. And I will probably be watching Sonic 3 probably on Saturday or Sunday with wife because I'm really excited for it. Sonic 1 definitely still hits. It's an hour and a half. I forgot how short it was. Sonic 2 was definitely 2 hours. And look, Gold Sonic was fucking amazing. And I can't wait to see Sonic 3. I can't wait to see how Sonic 3 will be having my boy Shadow and Sonic as gold like it has in the comics and the animated side is like, yes!
I can't wait for Super Shadow to be on the big screen with his little red forehead and all that stuff. Like,
red forehead, and I wonder if he's gonna be carrying the Glock still because in the lore he has carried the Glock still during as Gold Son, as Gold Shadow, but sometimes he does this.
The one trailer he had a gun, so
yeah, no, as the gun, but I wonder if he's gonna carry it when he's Gold Shadow.
Oh. I don't know.
So I wonder if they're gonna change up their own twist if he does carry or not. So I wonder if they're gonna do that. Sonic, from Sonic 1, I think I will give it a solid 8.5, or 9. Sonic 2 is definitely a 9. So curious to see where Sonic 3 will be because right now that's the highest rating of Sonic right now, I think, on Rotten Tomatoes and everything. So really excited for it. Jim Carrey, can't wait to see how he does in this version of Sonic as well.
Yeah, because they've been batting 2-0 for Sonic live action.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's the thing. It's like the first one I'd give a 7 just because it's a very safe movie.
It's great. So that's why I give it 8.5,
Yeah.
but I give it higher just because it exceeded my expectation. And also rewatching it, because I think the first one I saw it on my letterbox, I gave it a 3.5. So that's like a 7 out of 10 or like a 7.5 out of 10.
Yeah.
So now rewatching it, I changed my score to a 4 out of 5. So that means I gave it to 8.5 out of 10. So that's why I changed on my score, because rewatching it, I like seeing it with new eyes after years later. It actually looks a lot better than expected. Like, so rewatching it, you rewatching later, your score may go up as well.
It might, who knows? But yeah, no, Sonic 2 being a 9, that's accurate.
Yeah,
That is
it's fucking amazing.
an accurate
Knuckles, Idris Elba, like just saying that. Also, for those that haven't watched the behind the scenes of Idris Elba, the way he records with the gloves too, which is like I love it how he said it gets
It's
me
so
in
good.
his mode. It gets him in the mindset of Knuckles, which is like, you don't really need some big ass 2 feet gloves on you to really get you in your mode. But for him, it does. So I'm like, hey, do you, Knuckles? Do what you gotta do, Idris Elba.
Yeah.
Oh.
You've been getting into some other stuff though.
Yes, the last thing we mentioned him earlier. We mentioned our big bull-headed Black Adam dude, The Rock. He made a movie last month, guys, for Christmas. So today is 6 days away from Christmas. We're doing a live episode. But Christmas theme. I saw a movie called The Red One. What does the red one mean in code word? Means our boy Santa Nicholas Claus. And this was the movie with The Rock and Chris Evans, and I forgot the other people that was in the movie acting. I could search it up, but I'm gonna just speak it from the top of my head. We had The Rock and Chris Evans in his film as Chris Evans being a bad dad. He doesn't know how to be a dad because of his childhood, not believing in Christmas, so he ruined other Christmas people cheers. And The Rock was the security guard of Red One, aka Santa. And look, this movie, I was told from our friend, hey, we were gonna see originally Gladiators 2, but then we decided Gladiators 2 wasn't out yet. Red One was out. I said I'm not interested because The Rock has been giving subpar films lately. Watching it on Amazon Prime, so I saw it for free. A big shout out to that. My apologies, The Rock. I didn't give money to your film, but I saw The Red One on Amazon Prime. And look, better than expected. I was really, not saying shocked. I was pleased. I came in with low expectation and I came out much better. I came in expecting a film that will see like a 5 or 6 out of 10, and I saw it with a beautiful message showing that you could change. There's all good in you, like Santa Claus. He believes in the one chance, one opportunity. There's always a good in you, no matter that Christmas is not for the adults. What's the message? Christmas is for the kids, but also the kids within the adults. That there's all a kid within us still that has a trauma, that has a childhood, a child memory that's still resonating to Christmas or a birthday or some type of memory from back then that we can never forget. And Santa Claus really made that beautiful message about it. And The Rock, his character as security guard, he was gonna retire. That's the point, the message of the film in the beginning. Like, you guys learned this in the first 10-20 minutes of the film. By the end, you find everything wrapping up beautifully, and I was truly in not crying. I felt the emotions that I'm supposed to feel as a viewer, as a fan. I'm supposed to understand it, like, oh, everything has wrapped up, the character has reached their climax, and we see other name drops of the characters. We see a name drop of the witch. We see a name drop of Krampus, the half brother of Santa. So we see all these type of story characters being involved. We see the lore of the mystical creatures, is what I'll call them.
Right. Okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah, will you plan to watch it, Whawkins? With my non-spoilery vague review.
I mean, there was a slight interest in it, but yeah, I mean, I had a coworker just yesterday be like, "Hey, this movie's actually kind of fun." I'm like, "All right, well, I'll check it out." And I know you had talked about it a little bit. I think it was last night when we were hanging out. You
Yeah.
had mentioned a little bit more of it. So like, yeah, I'll probably end up checking it out. So
And Chris
just to kind
Evans,
of be like, "All right,
like,
yeah, I saw it."
like Chris Evans acted well. The Rock acted his character, but I felt like he was better in this film, in the most recent film. Like you felt the
Mhm.
emotion, the acting, to the character, the comedy was well paced. Um, the dynamic between Chris Evans and The Rock was well. I wouldn't say it was great or solid or like stellar type of chemistry, but it was well done. And you felt
Yeah.
the emotions of Chris Evans' character of like, hey, you as a kid you didn't believe in Christmas, but then sooner or later you, excuse me, you as a kid sooner or later have to grow up one way or
Mhm.
another, but also heal the childhood trauma, heal the childhood character that's inside you. How can you heal that? So I really appreciate that from the character of Chris Evans, what he portrayed. Because myself, nobody has a perfect childhood. We all live in different walks of life. So to see the character of Chris Evans literally from being what he believes as a bad dad, and then his character of his child in the film to like, yo, I didn't need you to be a perfect dad, a good dad. I just needed you to be present. I needed you to be there. I don't care if you're not with my
Yeah.
mom. I just needed you to come actually see my recital. And I love how Chris Evans' character like, but why would you want me to be there if you keep calling your band lame and you want to tell your concerts a lame concert? Like, yes, Dad, I'm
Mhm.
mad that you're not going. I'm mad at the concert. It's lame, but I still don't. I still want you to show up, and that's something real.
Yeah.
Kids don't know how to express their emotion well, but all they want you to do is be there, be present. That's the least you could offer and be there, and that's something that's beautiful that any person could relate as an adult or as a kid of being present is the least you could do as a person, and that's what matters in the film. And for the Rock characters, you gotta believe. That's literally his message: is believing
Mhm.
in magic, is believing in the good humanity, and that's what Santa Claus tries to portray. And I love how they show the job of Santa Claus not just being like a one night thing, it's like a 364-day thing, and they have Boxing Day off. That's the cutest thing. Like, oh, for Canada, for Boxing Day,
Mhm.
we're off. I'm like, that's funny. So
Oh,
out of
great.
364 days, they work it out. And the version of Santa Claus is not chubby. He's actually a fit dude. He actually takes his job seriously, and it shows the comedy
Mhm.
of that they have their mission of Christmas to actually like they have the magic, the gadgets. Like I think Walkers, you will actually enjoy this because I feel like the more I'm talking about is like I'm very happy with my rating, and I believe I gave it like a 7 out of 10. I probably would give it a
Okay.
7.5 because they actually made the movie ingenuitive and very modern into the current times, and I feel like I enjoy. Like, would I watch this film every Christmas, every year by choice? No. Would I watch this movie every year if I pop up on Amazon Prime and if it's there telling me to watch it? I wouldn't mind putting it as a background noise or watching it once every year. That's my honest answer.
Okay. All right, cool, 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 cool. I will take that into consideration. I'll, talk to the boys upstairs. We'll see, okay, whether or not that's a decision that, should be made with the main body of Whawkins and all that stuff. But yeah, you know what? I'll probably end up checking it out, because again, I have time to consume again. I can actually
Yes, you have
like
time to consume.
enjoy things.
Anything that you wanna say you're excited to consume? Like, what's your two things that for the next 2-3 weeks of vacation and less? What is your
Um
one number one or two thing that you're excited to consume?
Honestly, I'm looking forward to like actually watching Daima instead of like seeing some of the things that go around, being like, okay, this is this and that's that. Okay, cool, neat, excellent.
So you're saying
There's
you're tired of
that
seeing the clips and posts on the thread on our Discord server, like
of
the
coup.
notification of Coon and of
Fucking
all the multiverse and everything. Like, I'm tired of seeing this. I need to see the context.
Yeah, it's that, and I'm excited just to play some games again too. Like actually putting some time into some games, cause yeah, that and some content too. Like there's some stuff like I said, I'm gonna be recording some stuff here when we're done here and all that. But yeah, there's gonna be some stuff going up on the channel that I've been looking forward to, and like even just kind of because like I also do like a wrap down, like a a wrap up of the year too with all the media. So I'm looking forward to like going through the little Twitter thread I have of like, okay, here's all the things I consumed this year. What was the best thing? What was the worst thing? And all that stuff. And it's like, I looked at it the other week. I'm like, man, I played a lot of RPGs this year. Like, this was a heavy RPG year.
Can we first start a conversation because our first two coverage for the new year of January, it will be our 2024 wrap. I'm trying to debate if we should kind of separate like anime, pop culture, movies, or like gaming, because I feel like if we do it all in one video or one podcast episode, that's like a whole 3-hour show. So I feel like if we should probably separate one episode be like movie and consuming, and then the other one should be like gaming, because I feel like that would be like two conversations, but I haven't decided. But that could bring into our transition into our wrapping out closing thoughts of the episode, because like what is our summarizing thoughts of what we spoke about? Like already what we spoke about, it has been the discussion, but also what are we going for the episode 162 discussion next week? Because we said it as a spoiler from earlier. It'll be Sonic 3 solo review. It will probably be as a full episode on its own, so you guys will probably be catching on the Tuesday or Wednesday video also. Or on that Thursday, you'll be guys getting the Jump Festa 2024 ending of the year news, what was be announcing for next year 2025, anything Bleach, One Piece related. We're gonna have an update probably of the One Piece with studio version. We'll probably be getting an update on that. So there's so many things update. Bleach Core 4 of the 1000-year one, the 1000-year blower, and the final arc. Probably anything updated towards Black Clover, My Hero related, Dandadan Undead, and many more things that probably Koregabachi. So many things be announced in that 1 week. And then the next episode, 163, 164, will be our wrap year of 2024, so we can transition into our 2025 conversation.
Yep. And as always, people, you know what? I want to end really quick with a quick little message, because we are around the time of the year where, like, you know, holidays are happening. Depending on what you celebrate, you know, have fun, be merry, all that good stuff. But like, this is also a time where a lot of people kind of sink into a very dark mindset,
alone in
depending on
depression
your situation. Yeah. So just know that, you know, no matter what, you are cared about, you are loved, all that wonderful fun stuff. And if you need people to be a good distraction for you, we have a Discord. There's some links below, which Vash will, you know, run down for you as well. But like, if you need that escape, use us, because that's partially why content creation is a thing. It's a good way to kind of just escape from the monotony that is everyday life. So, you know, stay positive out there, everybody. You know, just keep doing your best.
Yes, exactly what Whawkins said. Continue doing your best. As you heard here, we're the Anime Lady Podcast. We bring you a conversational podcast to discuss pop culture in any mediums. We appreciate you guys for being here. As always, like, comment down below what you guys think about this episode, the Superman coverage, the trailer reaction / review, the Invincible reaction / review. What do we think? Our first thoughts, and what it was Game Awards results. All those things is good to have a conversation. And if you want to have more, join our Discord. Like we said, we are open to conversation. It's a time for holidays. We sometimes life thoughts are lonely. We the world is a crazy hard place to live with. So we're here to have conversation about it. We're here to support one another. And as always, continue subscribing, continue supporting us, because we are AniMa W3 Studio. That is for animation, manga, wrestling, webtoons, and for entertainment, and bringing a positive representation for the weebs culture out in the current mainstream and pop culture. So we appreciate for everyone being here. So without further ado, last thoughts about this. Thank you for joining us for tonight and taking the time to listen in. Don't forget to follow all the socials that I said is down below, all the links. We are on Blue Sky for Weebs of the Ring. We are on Twitter with /X. We are on IG. Go check out the Weebs of the Ring social media. We posted the prediction of Saturday Night Main Event. Some of us were right or wrong, so continue supporting that. Check out the AniMa W3 Studio social on TikTok, IG. We'll be posting some of the reels of this episode as well, so go check that out. And without further ado, on behalf of everyone of AniMa W3 Studio, we thank you for joining us on the Anime Podcast episode. See you later. Happy holidays. And this podcast was not recorded by live studio audience. So without further ado, as always, cheese goes on pancakes. We see you on the next one. Take care.
Why is he always going to do that, guys? Why? Just why? Why? I didn't sign up for this. I don't know.